It's just something you need to know about. All right, let's talk about blockchain. Dogecoin, the co-creator, says Web3 has zero value, warns NFTs are a way to get new suckers into crypto. So, I mean, if you didn't know, Dogecoin was obviously kind of there to make fun of cryptocurrencies. So, anyways, I'm glad he's actually taking a stance to step out. Now, I have mixed thoughts because there's actually some really cool uses to blockchain, and I'm going to get into that in some videos because blockchain is used by all developers most every single day. I think I've been convinced. This is an argument we had where I disagreed with the community at first, and I have come around and seen the light. Blockchain, not as we kind of think about it, but as it is used almost every single day by all developers. And it's cool. And it solves some problems. Also, people like Walmart and Amazon use blockchain in ways that you wouldn't imagine it. And IBM. That are really cool. But that's not what most people talk about. They're talking about these NFTs and these ways to scam people. That's the general way. And this is why there's always two sides of a coin. There are really cool things, and there's also ways that people scam people with really cool things. That being said, something really interesting happened with blockchain. Kelsey Hightower, fantastic speaker. I wish that I could speak half as well as he does when I get up on stage. When I get up on stage, I see a bunch of people, and trust me, when I say a bunch of people, there's like 6 people because only about 6 people come to see me speak. Kelsey Hightower speaks, it's like thousands of people, and he keeps it cool. I'm like sweating, and he delivers a fantastic speech. Anyways, really, really fantastic person to follow. I'm sure that all of you do. If you know who I am, you know who Kelsey Hightower is. He has been basically attacked. There was a letter sent to Congress. We covered this last week, basically with a bunch of tech people that said we're concerned with people getting scammed by crypto. And Kelsey Hightower is one of the people that signed this, and he literally got death threats because of it. This is not a good look for the people that say crypto is going to save the world. If you really think that it's going to save the world, if you think that that's what you're out there doing, that's probably not the stance. And obviously, this is not indicative of the entire community. You can have bad actors, but I've seen this type of behavior out of that community before, and like, so it's it's a shame that it has come to this. And my last blockchain thing is kind of why I think blockchain as we know it is kind of oversold. Trustless evidence. Web3 is helping document war crimes in Ukraine. Read this whole thing and disagree with me. Read this whole thing. I don't know how Web3 or crypto is helping it. I don't know how a distributed server is helping document and war crimes. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that we have ways that are documenting war crimes, and those people should be prosecuted to the fullest extent. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying Web3 does nothing to help that. I'm saying there's not one thing in this article that conventional internet hasn't already solved in 1995. I guess that's my issue here. What does the distributed ledger get us? It doesn't get us proof that it wasn't tampered with. As long as there wasn't 51%, you can prove that it wasn't tampered with. Again, as long as there wasn't a 51% attack. By authority of free market of trust. Right, but what if I could store every tweet in S3, not distributed, but prove that I didn't tamper with them. If you can do that, then I'm not sure what the distributed blockchain actually provides you. I guess is my question. The other thing that happens, and this is a big deal, is that the back end is distributed. So, but what you report your news on, that app, isn't distributed. It's a single thing. It's like the NFT marketplaces. So you're not using it as a server. Your phone isn't part of that server backend, and it's not partaking in it. You're actually using a centralized application that uses the distributed. So there's still actually this entry point. It's almost like the Tor network problem. As long as you enter the Tor network on a trusted node that doesn't keep logs, it's good. But if you don't, then, whoever owns that node knows exactly where you're going. It's the same concept. And with these distributed apps, the apps themselves are a centralized location into that network. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I wouldn't trust any, but I wouldn't trust the individuals either. Individuals lie just as much as the governments and the big businesses and all of them. I mean, that's the whole problem. If people were honest and truthful, so would the governments and the businesses. People think like it's a business problem. It's not that businesses have it's the people that run them that have the same problem. If the people that ran them with integrity, then you wouldn't have this problem, but they don't, because people don't have integrity. So I don't know. I don't know that I trust people. But the blockchain has the same entry point problem. Now, if you were running the Bitcoin network on your phone here, it would be great. But end users don't want that. They don't want to own their servers. I've never seen an end user who also wants to own their own server. And you can do that anyways if you wanted to. Go to DigitalOcean, $4, reduced price, half of what you got for their $5, but it's $1 cheaper. Not half the cheaper, but anyways, this is where I just don't understand what problem it's actually solving. And I do understand what problem they're solving with it, but how it does it better than another service that I already did, or another service. That's an interesting thing that we should do as a video, though, is to prove something wasn't tampered with. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of technologies that do that. I mean, TLS certificates prove that your request wasn't tampered with. That's like literally that you're hitting the server that you thought you were hitting. Like, that's what we're doing there. So there's a lot of technologies that don't require distributed consensus. I just don't understand the distributed untrusted consensus. Again, that's where, like, I don't know why that's solving the problem. Rubber cable, I would disagree. They don't need to learn to use microservices to pack identities to 51%. They don't. Let me try to pull up this stack. And the reason I say they don't, the reason they don't need to do that is because they have just enough servers. Like, they don't need to do that. I don't think that there's that many voting nodes. One second. I have this link saved. I just have to log into a place that has it really quickly. It's only like, I want to say it's only like 8,000 voting nodes. Let's see. And I'm going to pull up some other information really quickly. This is all going into, this was going to be my really big one. Here we go. This is basically talking about how many servers that Google owns, how many servers they have. And back in 2015, their largest data center had 1 million, but they were building a lot of smaller data centers. They weren't doing the 1 million machines in a data center. I have other links for my video about how many data centers that Microsoft has, what the average size of them are, and then I have these calculators out there to calculate roughly average about how many servers could be in that size, considering that a data center goes to about 70% capacity. So we can go into 70% is for servers, then there's like 20% for switches, and then like 10% is for like personnel. Again, I have that so we can all break that down, and then we can look at how many total there are. There's 5,000 voting known in the main net. 5,000 clients. So you're wanting to do a 51% attack. I can tell you individuals who can 51% attack this. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are not the two people in the world that can 51% attack this. I actually thought it was around 8,000. I wonder if it's gone down. This is horrifying. And we're talking about Ethereum, one of the larger networks. So anyways, so Russell says, do you think more people would run their own servers if it was just for news and true freedom of the press rather than for storing URLs to PNGs and transactions for hundreds of scam coins? Now, I don't think the standard person is. The standard person doesn't want to run their own server. That's the problem. You and I do. Us techies do. They want a centralized point, which again, then causes the problem. What centralized point are they accessing that network from? What centralized app are they accessing that? That centralized app can change that data however they want. They can store it however they want. Like, are you saying that the standard person would host it themselves so that they can access it without that? I don't think so. And it's not profitable either. You couldn't sell a token for it. And that's the thing. We need to get rid of tokens on the blockchain, or else the blockchain can't work. Because as long as people focus on tokens and making money off of it, then it's just going to be scam artist after scam artist. You can run a blockchain. IBM has this. IBM has a blockchain that has no token because you don't need a token for it. The whole concept of a token is for digital currency. Now, if you're saying, would I run a server to support freedom of the press? Absolutely. But the thing is, the press already have that freedom. They just do a bad job of it. You're not fixing the problem. The Washington Post or CNN or Fox have the freedom. They do a bad job of it. Now, if you're talking about somebody like me, well, sure, I can go post my stuff wherever I want on the web. So I'm also free. I still don't know where this is solving it. I can make a WordPress site in 3 clicks of a button and post whatever crap that I want to post. It doesn't make that crap true, and it doesn't solve the freedom of the press issue. You think that blockchain is solving the freedom of press in China? No, they're still pressed the crap out of. I don't think that it's solving anything. Wikimedia. You know, I'm happy to be wrong. So this is why I still have this conversation, because I would hate to be the person who completely discounts something because they're looking at it from the wrong angle. I do really struggle with this one. And you're talking to an avid person of blockchain in the early days. Because I thought that, it was this newish thing or a new way of looking at things. And I really do think that it has some really cool uses. We just have to be very specific with them. Russell, but so can your blockchain app, your centralized application. It can be taken down. I mean, you don't believe me. NFTs. I showed you a post last time. Literally took down the NFT for breaking its policies. because it's a centralized access point. So prove to me that it can't be taken down. Again, in China, still being censored. Prove to me that it can't be, and then I'll believe you. Prove to me that you can put it out there and it's impossible for somebody else to limit. That is a user, not a server hoster. Sure, if you're part of the actual network, but people aren't accessing Bitcoin or Ethereum. As we've seen, there's a lot more people that own Ethereum tokens than are actually participating in the network. 5,000-6,000 people? Really? And that's not even 5,000 or 6,000 people. That's 5,000 or 6,000 nodes. Are they actually distributed? I don't know. I don't sit here and claim to also be an expert. So if you're going to attack me for not being an expert, didn't claim to. I have thought through the problem. I do like some of the blockchain technologies. I can probably talk about proof of stake versus proof of work versus some of the other more unique ones, which I actually like more than proof of stake or proof of work. The distributed proof of stake is a pretty good one. But I can talk about consensus and all of those. I'm a pretty big nerd on consensus. But again, I wouldn't consider myself an expert. So Russell, we could talk about this. I still don't think that you solve the entry point problem. I don't think that you solve that. Because however you access that blockchain, whichever app that you use is going to filter that. And maybe there's a way to solve that. If we can solve that, that would be really cool. And I like that. You could even have a token. I'm not even sure that the token is, I think there's too much emphasis on the token, but you could leave a token and get paid. So like the people reporting could get paid somehow. I'm not sure that you need a token though, even to do that. It's almost like those centralized portals that you access it through, could charge a fee, and they could, pay that out to the people that are actually doing it. But again, this is where I don't know that the thing that we'd have to solve is we'd have to solve the centralized portal. You have to solve that so that there was no centralized portal without running your own node. Because again, I don't see the average news reader running their own server. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I will say it again, I don't see users running their own servers. Running your own servers is hard. I'm about to do a home data center, and the amount of work that's going into that for just a stupid home lab is insane. All right, I'm going to move on before I lose more subscribers, because that's what my newest videos are doing. Thanks for watching this Null Byte. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and check out the links below for my other content that I release. This was a small bite of the weekly show that I put on every single Monday morning around Kubernetes, tech, and cloud news. See you next week.